Oh, man, Alex, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, what's up? We're back, but with beer.
So, I'm better than ever for Christmas this year. The Hess truck is here.
You got one?
Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. Every year, I wanted the Hess truck. And every year, my dad was like, there's no Hess stations near us. I'm not driving all over the damn place to get you a fucking truck. And I was like, fair, but, like, it's kind of cool. And the ads stick in my head. So,
Oh, they're not even operating anymore. Oh, you know what? Technically, they're Marathon Petroleum now,
I was going to say
actually.
Marathon
And
owns
now they're
them.
Speedway.
Yeah. It's much easier to get the Hess truck now, is what you're saying.
Well, I think they made the decision to discontinue it, unless
No, I think
I
they
haven't
still
seen
do it at
any.
Christmas time. I don't know. I just assume they do.
No, because I got the Hess truck for like 2 or 3 years.
I never got one, and I'm super jealous of everyone that did. I won't lie to you.
I don't even know where mine are. I think I sold, like I gave mine away or something.
They're also probably worth an absurd amount of money for no reason.
Actually, okay.
Like I'm not even,
I got
I'm
it.
not kidding.
Actually, give me a second. Let's go with my computer mouse doesn't want me to do this in the name of content. I'm gonna pull up the eBay app. Where could you give me a year for the Hess truck, sir?
Oh, I want to say the 2007 Hess truck was one of the ones I really wanted. I want to say.
No, that'll key out, but I don't know if you can see that.
I'm seeing it's $30. 2021.
2097 or best offer on eBay.
Okay. I mean,
That-
think about it. It was probably $15 at the time, so they're still making money, and they've held on to it for
No, I
almost
just
10
gotta
years
remember.
or almost 20
I
years.
think I forgot which one I had.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure that was one of the ones I wanted because it was like two or three things in one.
Yeah, I had like a monster truck with like some other parts to it.
But yeah, you come for the baseball takes. You stay for our conversation about the Hess truck.
That's how we open our alcohol-induced podcast. It's Hess trucks.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. We should bring them back.
I appreciate that you brought that up, by the way.
It's one of those like core memories, right? That's just chills in the back of your mind.
No, I just remember like when you said Hess truck, I vividly got like the jingle from the ads back in
So
my head, and
the
I'm
way
not opposed at all.
I don't even remember what you said on the lead, but the fact that I immediately was just immediately went right into the Hess truck jingle. Tells you how much staying power that jingle had.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's funny because if we were recording this podcast, in December, there'd be some like valid reason for it to be part of the conversation, or in general in Christmas time. But no, it's June 19th, 2025 when we're having this conversation about the Hess truck.
Not opposed to that, but we'll
Can we
we
do a
we
Hess
gotta
truck
circle
tier
back.
list near Christmas time?
Yeah, we gotta that's we gotta
Did I just
actually like
generate
find
content
it.
for us?
We just got, yeah, we gotta find a while we're here.
Well, here.
Hess toy truck. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the
The whole-
2021 one. Someone wants $74 for it on Amazon.
Go to eBay, bro. You can probably save yourself a few bucks here. Okay, I had 2003 and 2004, I believe. Some of them weren't even trucks. The last one was 2020. Oh, and the last one on this website is December 24.
Which would have been last December, Alex.
Yeah, So they're still going despite not being an active place that could get some petroleum,
They have a plush tractor right now
It's insane.
for $40.
All right, I sent you a link. You better hold on to that before we lose it.
Did you send it
Oh
to
my
me?
God. July 21st at 8 a.m.
Wait, are you serious?
They're doing
I'm literally on their website right now.
I'm on Hess Toys.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, this is the open. All right, so I'm gonna put. Do I use our business email for this? Absolutely. This is a legitimate matter of business. This is like legitimate business that we're growing up on.
So you said
Hess
on
trucks.
when are they releasing?
The
2020?
about a month from now, or the mini collection is coming out, so it's not even the holiday collection.
Okay.
Wait.
July 21st, 8 a.m.
Is it?
Okay.
How much? Oh my God, $40 for that?
For the farm toy plush.
Actually, I kind of mess with it.
I kind of mess with it too.
Dude,
Um,
they got a whole hold on. They got a whole memory lane section of their website. Like, surprisingly,
all Halloween toys. Let's go. That's the only thing I care about.
dude, you missed
1966
the
was just a barge.
we missed out on the 60th anniversary collectible poster.
That actually pissed me. The 2009 Hess truck was 2 cars, and I'm very okay with that.
Because this is totally the introduction that we were planning.
Look, this is how you know. This is what live production does for you, Alex.
Oh, so
I remember
the last.
2012.
Okay, so
I remember 07.
the last 7 years have been no, the last 8 years have been like a 3-pack set of minis.
Okay.
Oh, because these usually release in the spring anyway.
Yeah. And then the Christmas truck. Although, as we're determining, a lot of the trucks aren't even trucks.
I mean, you got to branch out at some point, but still.
2000, I very vividly remember the ad for the 2000 and the 1999 Hess trucks. The big part of my memories are those ones. Again, I was born in 96,
what's crazy.
So
I think what's crazy is that even though Hess isn't like an active gas station, they still sell these and they still sell out every year.
Oh yeah.
That's actually insane.
I'm not gonna lie. Some of the stuff I'm looking at down the memory lane section, I'm like, I vividly remember seeing this. Like, my friends have these toys.
Oh my God, there's an ad for the mini plush.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was on the start of the.
Hold up. The $40 for that tractor, it does give you free shipping, which that's a lot. Shipping is
rapid.
And you get your Energizer batteries included. That's
no.
Price
You're
subject
missing
to
out.
change.
No.
As long as you don't live in
get a
Alaska,
gift
Hawaii, or Puerto Rico, it's safe for all ages, Alex. So don't worry, you can still use the Hess truck.
Oh, don't worry, we can get like 5 for Drew.
I was just gonna say, is this his Christmas present? We just sent him the Hess truck to his place of business. Actually, I kind of love that idea.
We put a random player's name on it, then we subsection it, give to Drew. As if they know who we're talking about.
No. I'm
Can
saying.
we gift wrap it at least?
Yeah, well, of course. I'd say we get it. We send it to Drew, and we put a note that says "open" in front of everyone
on camera, so we can be on there. So wait, there's 58 5-star. Wait. They have 58 5-star reviews.
I mean, it's the Hess truck. Of course, it has 5-star reviews.
I mean, anything below 4.5, I got to start asking questions. But
I agree.
all
No,
right,
it's that's a nice little thing. Look at that. 15 minutes in, and we're
yeah,
already ranting about the Hess truck.
I love how we're just our title deceives us once again.
It's fine. I think we should probably jump into the actual content, and then anyone that missed the beginning is not going to get the Hess truck jokes the rest of the way through, and that's the best part.
I just started naming obscure baseball players as we do this too. See how many we can riff off in the 45 minutes we're going to be doing this.
Don't worry, we'll get there. So, Alex, obviously, a little trade happened this week. A little trade between the San Francisco Giants and the now defunct Boston Red Sox,
Yeah.
because that's what it seems like if you look at like their fans' Twitters, that like the Red Sox exploded because they traded Devers. Is it actually that big of a trade? Honestly, I'm a Yankees fan. I haven't followed the Red Sox very closely. Is it actually that big of a trade for the Boston Red Sox? In
I
your
think it's the
opinion?
fact that I think it's just the fact another franchise cornerstone has left the team in a 5-year period. So they're kind of on schedule to trade a franchise cornerstone like that. Is if you go back to 2020, this when Mookie left and because they didn't want to pay him. Bogarts walked because we didn't want to pay him. We ended up paying Devers, but then there was a lot of mistrust between front office and Devers, which ultimately led to them getting him out. So I think this one's a little bit different because when Heim Bloom took over, his main part of his initial kind of grace period was to trade Mookie anyway. And then Breslow inherited Raffy's deal, which was a Heim Bloom deal. So I get the side of what's been reported saying that Breslow may not have been a fan of the deal, but also the Red Sox are notorious now for just wanting to get below the first luxury tax threshold, and trading the rest of that contract was their way to do so. So you lose your best bat, but you also just divide the fan base even more because they're just kind of running it on a the Red Sox aren't receiving the financial backing that they used to.
No, that makes perfect sense to me. Like I said, my joke always is, "Don't worry, he'll be a Yankee soon enough," because it seems like the Yankees will spend copious amounts of money to still not win a World Series, uh,
I
which
mean,
sucks a little bit. But the Dodgers do the same
I
thing.
think I think the Red Sox are almost being very hypocritical in this whole situation too, in the way of like when they were winning World Series, you know what they were doing,
Spending money,
and you know what a lot of other teams have done.
spent money. You mean Shohei Ohtani getting paid like 30 cents a year for the next million years? I realize that's
I
not
mean,
actually
but
what his contract is, but it might
no,
as well be.
I mean the concept of spending money to win World Series, like that's basically how the economics of the MLB works in the very most common denominator. There is more to it than that, but I think at the base level, the teams that spend money are going to make teams that spend money are in the best position on paper to win the World Series. But the Dodgers kind of proved both sides of that. On paper, they are one of the better rosters, but they also play like the best. So you have that trade off, and then there's just so much like upper level dysfunction with the Red Sox that it's almost like I was just waiting for them to do something stupid, and this is kind of what that turned into. But
No, that makes sense to me. Again, I was curious, with you being a Red Sox fan, what your
kind
opinions
of
of it were.
it ruins July 2nd a little bit though, but we'll get into that next week. But
So I'm going to
um,
disagree. I think it's funny because my mic is keyed out now, so it just looks like I'm like speaking into the void, and we're just going to roll with it. I disagree. I think getting to see Fenway Park and just being at a Red Sox game and an MLB game in general is its own benefit. So like, yeah, it sucks a little bit. Like I won't have seen Devers again, but I've seen Devers plenty of times. I've been to plenty of Sox Yankees games since he joined the Sox. So
I kind of want to backtrack a bit because going back to what I was saying about Mookie and Sander, right? If we re-sign Mookie long term, he was going to be the guy here for the next 10 years, 10+ years.
Potentially.
If we re-sign Bogarts, same idea, right? And when we signed Devers, that was the idea, right? Of he's the guy that we're building around. Did they do that? No. But did you have to pay a premium for Devers just to keep him here? 1,000% you had to. That's just how. This is how the economics of baseball works now. Is that you got to pay a premium to keep those big names where they're at before other teams can offer them a bigger check.
No,
it kind of goes back.
I agree. Unfortunately, I agree.
Then when you look at it this way, right? So I think, did we ever talk about the Bregman signing as it went down, or did we?
No, I think we just kind of let it happen.
So
it was,
I think,
because when Bregman signed, we would have still been really talking. I think we were still talking a lot of hockey. Just because that was the sport most in season. Obviously, on that point, congratulations to the Florida Panthers for going back to back.
Thanks to the Boston Bruins.
Thanks to a lot of teams and a lot of pieces. And you want to talk about building a culture from nothing. The Florida Panthers are that sort of team. They trade for Tkachuk, sign for Tkachuk. They get Tkachuk into Florida. I really forget how he got there. I'm pretty sure it was free agency, but it's probably a trade.
How did
I look like an idiot?
How did Columbus let Bobrovsky walk, or did they just trade for him?
But I think I'm 99% sure he was a trade. Let's ask the Google machine.
Imagine if Bobrovsky was still in Columbus with the team they had last year.
So, Bobrovsky is a fantastic hockey player. Oh, weird. His last 5 games were against the Edmonton Oilers. That's shocking. So, yeah, he came in the 1920 season. He came in the 19... Right, because the Jackets had he was a free agent signing on July 1st, 2019.
So the Jackets had
Eunice Corposello at the time.
Oh,
by the way, I
shared my disdain about that flank.
Eunice Corposello was the best goaltender in the NHL at the time. I will say that 100%.
Actually, I'm just mad that his Swayman kind of hasn't lived up to anything. But
and then Mr. Tkachuk was a Flame. He was a Flame with Gaudreau.
Because Bennett was in Calgary too, wasn't he?
That sounds right.
And then where's it? Verhaeghe was somewhere else too. But
Verhaeghe was a Tampa Bay Lightning player, but he was traded for Jonathan Huberdeau and former Cincinnati Cyclone Mackenzie Weegar on July 22nd, 2022. So those a couple key off-season trades. Led to the Panthers kind of building. But think about it. They get to Tkachuk in 22. In 25, 24, and 23, the season that they acquired Tkachuk, they've been to the Stanley Cup all 3 years since they've gotten Matthew Tkachuk. There has not been a Stanley Cup final without Matthew Tkachuk in it since he's been on the Florida Panthers.
Insane run.
Like Corey Perry losing 5 of the last 6, that's tough. That's disappointing.
Look,
But
when whoever has all of those opposing Stanley Cup T-shirts, they know he's Tom Brady, so it's fine.
except they don't know he played for them because those T-shirts don't have the whole roster on them, Alex.
Per the internet, per the TikTok I've seen 100 times, everyone knows that Corey Perry is also Tom Brady. It's fine.
Again, they probably don't also know who Tom Brady is because they don't necessarily have the internet if they have those shirts.
It's all right.
I hate poking holes in your logic, but I'm gonna poke a big ass hole in your logic, bud.
I feel like part of I do feel like part of our branding is to poke holes in each other's logic.
At least attempt to.
Yeah, to an extent. Where did I leave off before we ran on the little Stanley Cup run there?
Devers, Mookie was going to be the guy for
Bregman?
10 years. Bregman, yeah, we didn't talk about the Bregman.
Okay, that's where I was.
Okay.
Okay.
The Bregman acquisition.
So, I think what created, or something. I think that really they meaning Red Sox brass went about this the wrong way, right? Of I think they went after Devers in the way of like going after him in ways of his defense because his defense isn't the best. He's not the best defensively. That's been known forever. But the fact they told him maybe I had to look it up, but I think it's no more than a week prior to the Bregman signing that hey, we're gonna move you off third base. You're gonna DH now. Devers like, yeah, he's like, no. Like, you don't tell him like that. I feel like if they took that conversation of, hey, we're going to move you off third base, are you open to either A, learning first base during spring training, or B, DHing? And kind of left it up to him at that point. I feel like that conversation still would have gone vaguely the same way. But his response probably would have been a little bit different. But it still probably would have shown his disinterest in moving off of third base. And I think just the way that he's handled everything since then, right? Because the team came into it with this concept of, hey, you signed this big deal. Here's all the other stuff that comes with it. But I feel like they never really told him that he had to assume a leadership role. It's like you kind of look at the other bigger deals and you see that those players have taken on that role. It's like Judge is the captain of the Yankees, right?
Yes.
Usually?
He is, in fact,
right.
the captain of the Yankees.
Okay, so the Red Sox haven't handed that out since Veritek. I don't really plan on them doing that for a while, but like I don't remember like even going through Twitter, like Cora or the front office putting him in a leadership position. They've also never put anybody in his corner to kind of like guide him on that front either. So it's, you know what I mean? Like it was just kind of Raffy shows up, does what he does, goes home, shows up again the next day. All right. But I really do feel like they kind of dropped the ball in the way of like communicating what they were thinking with him before they did it. Because if it at least it wouldn't have escalated as quickly as it did. They probably would have had some more behind doors conversations. And then what really kind of got my mind of like, something's happening when the owner of your team goes out to Kansas City to have a conversation with them. Right? Like John Henry doesn't do that. Especially lately. Might have done that in the earlier part of his ownership, but he hadn't done anything like that now. So you're kind of like, I feel like the ownership and leadership is just sending him mixed messages about how they saw him. So he was kind of responding like, if they're gonna miscommunicate with me, I'm gonna be as blunt as I can be to kind of prove a point. That's kind of what happened. But I just remember seeing the pass and tweet of the trade went through. I was still in shock that they would go that far to trade him, compared to just trying to work something out with him. But again, it's not Breslo's contract, so Breslo kind of might have came in with this mindset of he's just as expandable as anyone else on my roster. So it's kind of that point for me.
No, that makes perfect sense to me. Like I said,
The timing was weird though. I think the
timing was
very
super weird. Now I understand. I understand the one of the pitchers that came from the Giants. He was supposed to start that night for the Giants.
Yeah.
I feel like Devers at least got to play his game, right? Dude lost out on a start and got immediately optioned to AAA Worcester. So, like, how much does that set that guy's career back, potentially?
I don't think it does. I don't think it really does. I think they're trying to just
develop him
kind
a
of
little
get
bit more.
Yeah. Well, also, Andrew Bailey, our pitching coach, came from the Giants, so he's familiar with the guys that they brought over. But I think that what that's really going to do is just – I think it's going to let the Red Sox staff get some data on him. Because I don't know if they can share – if teams share that kind of data back and forth when they have guys – when they trade players, at least.
I highly doubt
that
it.
stuff might stay in-house. I need, analytics data, so they probably want them to
I was going to say they might
throw some innings in the Worcester.
Now, that being said, if I was going to be trading a player, I'd be like, hey, you want this guy? He seems super undervalued for this trade seems super lopsided. Here's some analytical data that tells me that it's not as lopsided as it may look on paper, you know? Because when I look at Rafael Devers for those two guys, I was like, I've never heard of those two guys. I do know who Rafael Devers is. And when it comes to what a baseball, I kind of live under a rock.
Yeah, so, and I think the return. I think
the return might wind up being really good for the Red Sox. I think much like the draft, and I'm stealing this direct line from a hockey comment or podcaster that does a lot of hockey stuff, Steve Dangle, that the draft is all magic beans, and you're just trading for a better selection of magic beans when you trade for draft picks. Paraphrasing what he says, I think when you trade in general, you're getting a little bit of that magic beans effect too, because you know what you have, right? You have Rafael Devers. You know he's been playing this level. We'll give it a value of X. I'm now trading what I know about Rafael Devers for these two guys I don't know shit about, realistically. And so there's a little bit of magic beans, because how many times have we seen a guy that's really good goes to a new city and he's shitty? And it's not because he's worse at the game. It's just he can't play in that city, especially a sport like baseball where the stadium is not uniform. Playing at the Giants Park, it's Oracle, right, is the name of it?
Yeah.
Playing at Oracle is very different than playing at Globe Life in Texas or Yankee Stadium, Fenway Park, Wrigley Field, whatever they want to call the White Sox Stadium now. It's like a Rate Field or whatever. Terrible name, but neither here nor there. It's just they're completely different cities. They're completely different weather. They're completely different everything. Great American Ballpark, same thing. Completely different weather. Now this guy who may have never pitched in New England ever has to figure it out. Now, granted, it's the summertime. It's nicer out. It's better weather, so it's not as bad. But imagine in April, you're a guy that comes from Texas, right? Just like at the end of spring training. How often do we see the New England teams and Minnesota and the Blue Jays and the New York teams just their pitchers are garbage as soon as they have their first homestand because it's just cold and it's just different, and they're not ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the return, I'm gonna go back to the return from the Giants. It's like I'm not mad, but
You're
it's
just
just like
disappointed.
the Red Sox. They have a very, they have a very obvious hole that they need to figure out what to do with, and they didn't try to fill it. You
It's
know what I mean?
fine. Masashaka Yotis, that
And it's not a DH.
he will be your DH.
I
I
mean,
can't pronounce his name, but he will be your DH.
I think no. So I think the very obvious need is at first base because Tristan Casas blew out his knee about a month ago, a little more than a
Look,
month ago.
you don't need knees to play baseball, Alex. Especially
Fine, you
not
just
first
need-
base.
But I think so. Jordan Hicks, who we also got, is injured, but he was throwing in Worcester today, so I don't know when it was retroactive for him to go on IR, but the IL. But I think if Kyle Harrison kind of shows up and starts shoving, like, because the Red Sox really don't have a number 2 arm right now. They have Crochet and then 2 through 4 or 2 through 5. They don't have a true 1-2 situation. I don't think they will this year. But I think at least I just want this return to not be like what we got from Mookie, which turned out to be nothing. Like, didn't do anything. Jeter down to do anything. And then Connor Wong is here because we can't get rid of him yet. So it's like, what do we do? We did see him homer last year, though. So, I mean, there was that moment, I guess. He did homer in the game we were at together last year.
Oh, really? He did? I
He did.
legit don't remember that. I don't remember anything about that game. We were just
I'm sorry.
sitting at Great American Ballpark.
I just remember the game I was at, Jaron Duran robbed the homer. That would have tied the game. So, that was fun.
I'll make this not so hot take. Fenway Park's one of the coolest ballparks in the MLB, but Great American, it blows its socks off for actual experience.
See, I don't disagree with that either. Like,
and I say the same thing about I've been to 4 MLB stadiums, so I'm using a very limited amount of data. But as far as like the best place to watch a game, for the watching of a game, number 1 for me is Great American. Number 2 is Citi Field. Number 3 is Fenway, and number 4 is New Yankee. New Yankee.
So I think Fenway.
New Yankee, nice ballpark. Very nice ballpark. Citi Field, very nice ballpark. Fenway, very old ballpark. Not in a bad way, just it's factually old. And that's why I think it's fan experience wise not good. But there's a nostalgia. Also, I grew up outside of Boston, just like you did. So there's a nostalgia about getting to go to Fenway Park.
So I think Fenway is just a tourist trap now.
Oh,
so
100%.
So actually, that got me thinking a little bit too. As soon as you said that, there was another thing I didn't put on our sheet, but I want to Google something real quick. But I'm gonna look at I was gonna look at like Wrigley and Dodger Stadium just for comparison, but I feel like it's kind of the bigger ballpark names are going to be like your more tourist trap.
Oh, I agree. I think that's a given. I can't think of a ballpark that's not really a tourist trap at the end of the day.
No, but I think
that's part of those stadiums. But Dodger Stadium, I think, doesn't look good from any pictures I've seen of it.
I'm going to Coors in August, and I'm excited for that.
By Coors, I've just never been to Coors. I went to Denver in high school, so 2013. So it's been 12 years. Literally, a kid that was born that summer is getting ready to start the 8th grade, right?
Yep.
7th, 8th grade.
Seventh. Yeah.
Like since I've been to Coors Field or by Coors Field, it looked like, again, we were just on the road. It looked just like a ballpark. Like it didn't have any. It didn't look like anything special from the outside, but it looks like, obviously, my only interior views of it have been watching the '07 World Series and playing like MLB The Show and stuff. And so that's kind of, it looks like it's probably a nice ballpark, and I am looking forward to hearing your review of Coors Field.
I'll throw something together for that. Actually, look, I'm gonna do something, but so I think that with Great American, like, you gotta consider one is a smaller market, just based on if you were to tier list all the MLB teams by market, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would you'd
No,
put
100%.
Cincinnati somewhere towards the bottom, right? In that
Yeah,
bottom third,
100%.
maybe.
And it's nothing against Cincinnati. Like, we're not saying anything bad about Cincinnati. Let's be clear. It's just.
Can I not? Hold on. Can I not get Cubs? Can I not look at Cubs tickets for the sake of price comparison?
It's one of those things.
Standing room only. Okay, so the standing room only for the Cubs game tomorrow is roughly what we paid to go for July 2nd.
That's
not
terrible. I mean,
actually, it's cheaper. It's $43.
Now, that being said, that is standing room only, so there's no seat included. We are sitting in a seat.
Yeah, so
that is relevant.
Actually, let me go back to the Cubs schedule here. Sorry, I got fixated on this. Let's do the same night against Cleveland, ironically. No, I'm going to do this for the Dodgers, too, just for the sake of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay. Should we do bleachers just for that's where we're going?
Yep. Use bleacher comparison.
Ooh,
because we're doing bleachers.
Actually, that works. That works.
Because we're sitting bleachers, so you have to use the same comparison. Because let's be real, like, let's use Great American Ballpark, right? I can get a standing room only ticket for like nothing.
$9?
Something like that. Yeah, it's insanely cheap.
I'm kind of glad one of the last games I went to at Great American, like, I did actually treat myself to a decent seat.
I mean, I don't think it was a bad seat because, like, we sat in Phioptics District every time we went together.
That was.
It's actually a great place to sit in the ballpark. You're right by the foul pole. Like, it's kind of my ideal spot to sit in a baseball park because, like, you're gonna get foul balls. Not that we got any, but you can hook a foul ball into the Phioptics District pretty easily. By the left field.
So
foul
for me,
ball.
all right. Yeah, so for me, Wrigley is like the number one ballpark I want to go. Wrigley's been number one on my list for years. Still is. So let's say you and I end up in Chicago by accident, right?
Sounds like a Saturday night.
$71 for just for center field bleachers at Wrigley.
For two.
All bleachers, $71 for bleachers for two.
Okay, so it's like $20 cheaper to go to Fenway, or more expensive to go to Fenway.
Well, also that's against Cleveland, but you and I both know how teams will move prices around.
So but we're going to the Reds, who I would think would also be in the same sort of price shift.
Yeah. All right, let me go
I actually would expect
Dodgers,
Cleveland to be more expensive at Wrigley, just because, like, the Guardians and Cubs, they played a World Series, man. Like, recently.
That's still one of my favorite Worlds. I'll go back and watch like older World Series, and I'll go back to that World Series all the time.
I will say that World Series, one of my favorite things that Cleveland did is, as you know, they had discontinued the Chief Wahoo logo, like from their hats and everything by that point. They had him on the hat. I think it was on the side of the hat for that whole run because that's like what the players requested or something.
All right.
So
Then Dodger
that's one of my
Stadium.
favorite things about that.
All right. So Dodger Stadium is $75 per ticket for the same view that we'd be getting
Per
at Fenway.
ticket.
Per ticket.
So Fenway's significantly cheaper.
Yeah. So we were at call it 45 for the
Yeah.
sake of easy math. Yeah. And that's for the Reds at Dodgers Tuesday, August 26th.
So it's honestly a worse night of the week too, a Tuesday.
I just picked. So actually, do you want to?
Because using the Reds as a consistent is good until you do the Cubs because that's a divisional game.
I could have gone to the White Sox. You're lucky. Yeah. They go to Boston and then so they play the Skyline circuit. If you're curious, at the end of July.
So all
right.
Fun fact.
Actually, I'm gonna go to the Astros.
One of the last games I went to at Fenway Park was it was a White Sox game.
So all right, I picked the Astros now. How about that? Same. All right, row up. Okay, against the Astros. Throw me a number.
84.
I rounded up, so yeah, 84 with
so
fees included, obviously.
83 something with plus fees.
Yeah.
Dude, I am so good at guessing prices.
I mean, I think you know this on your side of the business, right? Where it's like you fluctuate it based on who's in town, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you're using your basic supply and demand curves. And actually, the Astros at Dodgers, I think it's probably skewed a little bit high too. Here's why. Two reasons. One, as we know, the Astros haven't been in the American League that long. It was 2016?
13?
Ooh, was it?
I thought it was 13, but
I thought it was 16.
Oh, I'm gonna. Can I back you up real quick?
Yeah.
So I looked at the White Sox who come in the series before the Astros. Those are a $3 difference on price.
Damn. Okay.
Same two seats.
So you're right. It is 2013 when the Astros moved to the American League, but they were a National League team from 1969 to 2012, with 69 to 93 being an NL West team. So they played the Dodgers very regularly. 94 to 2012, they were the NL Central, which is kind of wild to think about.
I mean, I only understand. I only like that because just based on the geography, but having a 6-team division and a 4-team division just doesn't add up. Like, it doesn't make sense either.
No, I agree. That was the point I was trying to make. Like, it's just a bad feels bad. Should we probably get to the crux of this because we're 45 minutes in? And
I had one more baseball. I did have one more baseball take from earlier. I was listening to. So this year's All-Star game in Atlanta.
Yes.
They are returning to the home and road threads during the actual All-Star game.
So I had planned on talking about this next week. Actually, I was going to suggest this, but continue. We'll just talk about it now. We'll just talk about it now. You brought it up.
Okay, so I think just because you and I grew up in that era of that was the norm, right? So I like it a lot too because I think the MLB. I don't know if does the NHL do it or do they do like the branded or they do
have
the specialty?
They have the conference jerseys in the NHL.
So my favorite part about it is that for me, like as I watch I watched the All-Star game every year growing up.
I did too, actually.
So
even if I didn't watch baseball most of the year, I watched the All-Star game. That's why as I watched like the 2007 All-Star game as an example, right? They let me put names to the teams. So whenever I watched the Red Sox play those teams, I could pinpoint, Brian Roberts plays for the Orioles. Vladdy Sr. played for The Angels at the
the LA
time.
Angels. Like it let I think it let me, at least as a younger fan, like put that name team
I was gonna say,
association.
especially in the non like hyper updated internet era, because like
I say like non-social media era, like the non-social media era of
fair.
things.
So what I was gonna go with is I'm going to the video game side of things, right? If I load up MVP Baseball 2005 tomorrow, the roster is the same as it was when they released the game. If I load up MLB The Show 21 tomorrow, it's the final roster update from mid October
October,
or
November,
probably September.
probably
Probably
November.
mid September is when they do their last one.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Oh no, they do a postseason.
Okay.
They do a postseason one. So probably like December
Well,
1st after the World Series. So probably like in sometime in December. If I load up MLB The Show 21, using that one because that was the first one on Xbox. It's different. When I played MLB The Show 25 today, it was the current roster update as of last Friday. Like, so it's the rosters being more up to date in video games. I think partly can help you have a true All-Star Game jersey, and you don't have to like. It's easier to associate it. That being said, I love the fact that they are going back to those uniforms. Like, I want to see, presumably Aaron Judge is going to be the All-Star for the Yankees. Like, I think that's a given. I prefer seeing Aaron Judge in his Yankees jersey than some American League jersey. Now, for the sort of skills competitions, the home run derby and such, I like that they're going to wear the All-Star jerseys. I wish that they would have a good, like, I saw that they all are going to have the All-Star cap, which is just their regular cap with 2 stars on the top, basically. And I think the hats look fine. What I would like, and this is probably a really weird thing to say, but obviously keep the home-away jerseys the way it is, right? You're an American League team and you're playing in Atlanta. You're wearing your road jerseys. The National League, obviously they're wearing their homes. But I think they should all have the same helmet and hat. So you should have your All-Star. They should all wear the American or National League hat and helmet. That would be what I would want for the All-Star game.
Yeah, and
Which,
I think
will make it look more like a pickup game, but I think that's kind of, especially now the All-Star game has no weight on the World Series, which, by the way, my opinion, worst
I want
move
that back.
ever. Bring that back.
No,
I would have rather had that back than the jerseys, if you want me to be completely honest.
I don't even know how they determine it now, to be honest with you.
I think it's whoever just has the overall better record.
Dumb.
No, I loved
anyway,
when the All-Star game had weight. It was the best part about the MLB All-Star game. And then wasn't it one year? I swear to God, one of the last years they did it. They took like the home run derby, and they added points in some weird way to figure out who had the World Series home field advantage. So like the home run derby also mattered for that. I swear they did that one year.
I mean, at least for me, right? At least so this is kind of where my brain goes now, given my line of work, right? Is you can. Yeah, I know they're going to do this anyway, right? Is you sell the All-Star jerseys for the fans that want to buy the jersey for that limited run that they're going to be publicly available, right? In the month or 2 that they'll be out if they're not out already.
They should be. They've announced them, so I expect they'll be rolling through. I'm looking forward to earning them, and MLB The Show. I'm not going to lie to you.
Let me look at a website I know pretty well.
Oh, you mean Nike.com?
No, something like that. I do want to ask your opinion about something. Then we'll go back to this tangent while we do that.
But no, I really did want to talk about this next week originally because I was like, it's closer to the All-Star game. So,
what do you think about Nike doing the City Connect sneakers this year versus I don't know if you've seen any of them, but what do you think?
I don't know why I'm getting Nike.com / Great Britain.
Sorry, I corrupted your search history. It's fine.
I don't
But
want Nike.com GB. What the hell? How did I get in Nike.com Great Britain?
they don't have it out yet on .com, so it's not. Probably my guess will be end of the month. It'll be available. But anyway, so when the collection drops, right, you'll have like the nameless AL NL jerseys,
Mm-hmm.
right, and then maybe you'll put out. My guess would be like a Judge, Otani, Trout, maybe, or whoever else. Insert top 5 biggest names here, right? They'll make a jersey for them. And then maybe for the individual teams, they'll put a All-Star patch on like an Adley Rutschman or Ellie or Yoshinobu Yamamoto or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you get the fans that want the team jersey, but with the All-Star patch, so you kind of just so you cater to both sides of the market, because the All-Star collection usually does sell pretty well. So I think it's just one of those things where it's like, I like the aesthetic because it brings me back to how I used to consume the All-Star game. And I thought the jerseys were kind of like it was kind of like it made the All-Star game kind of lose its fastball a little bit for me, where it was like, sure, they're gonna wear specialty jerseys because it's the All-Star game, but that's also what every other league does, to have the specialty jersey. So I feel like when the Pro Bowl was a thing, like they used to do the specialty jersey but team helmet kind of thing.
Yeah, so I liked that, and that's kind of my point. I'm fine with them having either they wear their team hats and helmets, or they wear their team jerseys with all-star hats and helmets. Because make it special.
In my lineup,
Oh, I didn't put Jack Diddley Squad on why they're in my lineup. I just put them in the lineup. We'll lead with Philly. I did have music funding and everything in a pause screen because I didn't have anything to riff on for once. So
there you go. All right.
It was good. It gave me a chance to get up and stretch for a few minutes. So let's go with Philly first. So I guess I'll guide you through what we're going to do here to finish it so that we have a clear ramp. Obscure Phillies team for Alex, obscure Pirates team for me, and then we'll spin the wheel for next week. I believe you had first pick this time, so I'll have first pick for next one.
Yep.
We'll do it next week because in 2 weeks there will be no pod, or if it is, it'll be a live from Fenway Park pod.
It'll be on the way to Fenway. It might be a day or two. If we have time, we might do an in-person one.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be on the second. Yeah, it'd be on a Wednesday.
Anyway, we'll put something where we're boots on the ground at Fenway.
Yeah,
which I think would be a nice little riff from what we usually do.
There will be content on the second of us being us.
All right, so
and then we'll go through Alex's mystery conference and year.
Well, you have the wheel on screen for our lovely audience to see.
Wheel.
Okay.
Do you want me to spin it first
All
so
right,
we can already predetermine next?
No, we can. No, let's react in the moment. I want to have a live reaction.
I'm going back to this while we go over them, and then when we get to that, I will bring it back.
Fire. Let me log into Twitch so I can watch the spin from here.
You'll be able to see the spin on Discord, sir.
Oh, okay. I'm a flank. All right, it's fine.
I mean, I'll take the viewer, but
actually, I'm actually kind of pleased with how the obscure Phillies lineup kind of turned out.
I think I said this. It might have been before we went live at this point, but honestly, I was looking at the Pirates and I was like, ooh, most of like the kind of good names that were Pirates for their whole career, or so much of their career, where I'm like, it's hard to use him as an obscure stop for his career.
It's kind of like when you think of like the older teams, like the Pirates and the Phillies, like you have that. Like there were a lot of career guys, or at least
Oh yeah.
like maybe 90% of their career was in Pittsburgh or in Philly. So it was like, that's not what we're doing here. We'll probably do that for another day. But
Oh, we'll definitely do a our dream lineup of each team. Um, again,
all right,
guys that
I
played
I,
there.
I think that's what we do for Red Sox Reds when we go. That'll be our one off of. Let's put together a Red Sox and a Reds God Squad and see what happens.
Alrighty.
But for the all-time obscure Phillies that I threw together, we're going to start with Bruce Chen on the mound. And to catch Mr. Bruce Chen, current Detroit Tigers manager A.J. Hinch will be behind the dish. At first base, we got Jeremy Giambi, who's a late season acquisition for the Philadelphia Phillies. At second base, I knew him as a Yankee and a Red. We're going to put Miguel Cairo at second base. At the warm corner, the hot corner, some would say, current Arizona manager Torey Lovullo had a quick little run in Philadelphia. And at shortstop, one of my most popular Immaculate Grid answers, Nick Punto, is me manning shortstop. In left field, Mr. Kenny Lofton, who you could have also stolen for your Pirates lineup.
When did he play for the Pirates?
2003.
You know what's funny? I didn't put him there because he plays left field, and I have a different left fielder.
In center field, I put Michael Bourne, as I associate him as a Brave and an Astro.
Mm-hmm. No,
But
me
he
too.
did have a little. His first stint in the majors was with the Phillies. And then in right field to round out the fielders, Mr. Gary Varsho, the father of one Dalton Varsho of the Toronto Blue Jays. And my designated hitter is Mr. Jeff Conine, who also has a son in the major leagues.
That's lame. I haven't heard in so many years.
I know. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Not. All right, my bullpen is Kyle Loesch, Dan Plesac, and Paul Quantrill.
Okay. And so for my Pirates lineup, I did my best to have, again, good names like that you didn't necessarily have to be a big baseball guy and you're like, I've heard him. I know him. So on the bump, I have Tim Wakefield. I almost had him at first base, but he never actually played first base for the Pirates, despite that being the position he was drafted as. Catching Tim Wakefield, I have Brandon Inge. At first, I have Sean Casey. Did not know he was a Pirate at all, and I just happened to look him up pretty randomly the other day, and I was like, oh, he played for the Pirates, perfect. At second base, I have Pokey Reese. I believe it was 2003 when he was on the Pirates. I think that's what I was reading. At third base, I have former New York Yankee Miguel Andujar, who I actually saw play for the Pirates, and I still forget he played for the Pirates. At short, Tony Womack, another former New York Yankee. In the outfield, I have Barry Bonds in left before he drank his milk. Greg Allen in center. And Tigers Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg in right. He's the only technical out-of-position player, but I needed to round out my outfield, and that felt like a good way to round it out. My designated hitter I have is Daniel Vogelbach. My other 3 pitchers are Burt Brelvin, Jim Bunning, and Rich Hill, who I don't know who he plays for right now because I know he was on the Yankees at the beginning of the year, but I don't think he is anymore. How was my wheel for you, sir? How was my lineup for you, sir?
Uh,
A couple Hall of Famers.
as I led into, like, I think this was like I might have said this offline, but I think this was like the pair of teams that we drew that actually, like,
It was harder. It was a lot harder than
it was
Red
harder,
Sox
but
Yankees.
it worked out. I think with the bigger goal here that it did work out.
And I realized I put red Cleveland, not Reds, but that's fine. All right.
It's all right.
The next set, and I get first pick of the draft.
I cannot see the Discord, sir.
A's and Giants.
Oh, okay. I'm in the wrong screen. That's my fault.
A's and Giants. Oh, two, again, old teams. I think I am going to take... I am referring to our all-time sheets here real quick, because obviously you get your full career. I'm going to take the Giants.
All right.
Because even though I had, just looking at my list, my all-time team, I already had two Giants. So that knocks off two, whereas you had a couple. And the hard part with the A's, though, is a lot of guys that maybe are more obscure A's are like the Moneyball A's, that because of Moneyball, they're not obscure A's anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So that was the other thing. I was like, oh, there's a couple good A's. But I was knocking them off in my head. I was like, ooh, no, that's not a good one. No, that's not a good one. Although I'm pretty sure I handed you one before the stream. Yeah, he was.
I feel like I did.
Look at that. Literally the first image that comes up on Google. So, I think this is going to be a much easier one than last week.
I feel like we still have the diversity, though. Is kind of my favorite game of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Giants, same thing. They're just super old teams, so we're going to have a lot of the same problems as the we had with this past week. Although all the teams we've done have been old, we haven't gotten any of like the young teams being like start in the 60s teams. Because we had the Red Sox and Yankees, who were both old-ass teams. So, it's going to be in this order, sir. Because I always do you, me.
But, okay, I was just trying to copy everything over in real time, so we had it made.
So, that'll be for next week.
All right. Conference, and I want to rip a grid or two and get out of here.
We'll just do conference and get out of here, because we've already gone over. We're already over an hour at this point.
Okay.
Give me the conference and the year so I can fill it in the sheet.
We are going to go with another. Who'd you have last week?
I had the A10 baseball of 1992.
All right. So I'm going to go with the defunct conference. The whack of 2000.
All right.
This is for football.
That's fine. San Jose State.
Yep.
Boise State.
Nope.
Boise State wasn't in the WAC at that in 2000?
Not in 2000.
I was just taking my Mountain West schools. I was just going to start firing off those and then add in the few PAC schools that I need to add in to make the WAC. Oregon?
No.
Oregon State?
No.
Okay, so no Oregon. Eastern Washington?
No, I believe they are in FCS by the grand scheme of how D1 is organized.
Okay. Washington State?
Nope.
I've already used up all my strikes. Because we said it was going to be 3 strikes. Hawaii,
Yep.
San Jose, not San Jose State. San Jose.
Not San Jose.
San Diego.
No.
San Diego wasn't in the WAC.
Not in 2000.
How many total schools was it? Because you didn't give me that information either.
There are 9 from how I count it.
I have 3
Yeah,
of
9.
9. Being San Jose State, Hawaii, and those are the only ones.
No, you have 2.
I have
Yeah,
2.
you got 2 of 9 right now.
All right. New Mexico?
I will. No. I will say, some of these teams have jumped around together into other conferences.
Cal?
Based on region for the most part. You're in. All right, so you've. See, how do I put this? You have one more school on the West Coast, and then everything else
So,
is east of California.
UNLV?
No.
Who the fuck was in the... This is why the conference is defunct. The whack. Utah?
No.
Air Force?
No.
I swear they were in the whack at one point.
All right, I'm gonna give you one more hint.
Okay. Are any of
You're-
them state schools? Let me take that first before you give me your hint.
You have one of them. I don't know how to describe it. If it is a state school,
BYU.
there is one more. No, there's one more state school on there.
There's one more state school in there.
At least one more. I don't know how to. Well, when I say the other one, you can make the distinction on if it's a state school or not.
Sacramento State. No, they
No.
don't play football.
They do, but they're sub D1.
Well, that's the other problem. The WAC is a...
These are all Power 5. These are all power schools, though.
Arizona?
No.
Arizona State.
No.
The WAC didn't go to Texas, I don't think. No. Utah State?
Nope.
Colorado State?
Nope.
Colorado?
No.
I'm naming every state school. Idaho?
No.
I've already done Washington. I've already done Oregon.
There is one more school in California.
Not Stanford. I don't think Stanford was ever in the WAC. No. One more school. Fullerton?
No.
I'm trying to think it's like of like the sub California schools because I don't think it's Stanford.
All I'm going to say is you named a particular conference that will help you.
Mountain West. Who haven't I named out of the Mountain West? I've knocked off BYU. I've knocked off Boise State. That's the whole Mountain West, as far as I'm concerned. It's not Arizona or Arizona State. A California school that's in the Mountain West. Not either of the Colorado schools. Oh, is it our kicker went there. Fresno State.
Yep.
That's a state school in California.
I mean, I think they're technically all state schools, but all right. So there's one more Mountain West.
One more Mountain West.
I think the rest are all
Not-
American except for one,
Not
or except for two,
not UNLV.
or three actually.
Not UNLV. I got Hawaii already. That was a give me. I'm surprised. I'm still shocked about Boise State. I'm not going to lie to you.
You're kind of missing the middle of the conference too. Not gonna lie. You're missing the upper two, the bottom two, and the middle two. So you're kind of shooting around.
Nevada?
Got the bottom. Nevada finished last in 2000.
Okay. And you said everything else is kind of east of... Is everything
So
else
now,
still
think about-
east?
Everything now is east of Nevada.
I don't think there was any Texas... I swear there weren't any Texas schools in the WAC. I swear there weren't any Texas schools in the WAC. Then again, the WAC in 2000 was a different WAC than it was when it ended. We'll just start naming random Texas schools, I guess. UTEP?
Yep.
Not in Texas, but Tulsa, because it's basically Texas.
Yep. Tulsa's on there.
And that's where I'm going to tap out, honestly. If I had to hazard a guess, I'd guess weird schools like Rice and SMU.
Why don't you give yourself 2 more points there?
How many do I have left now?
You have 1.
1.
Yeah, so you have UTEP, Fresno, San Jose, Tulsa, Rice, Hawaii, SMU, and Nevada.
What state's the last school in?
Still in Texas.
The fact the WAC went to Texas blows my mind, Alex.
Actually, this is kind of a good pick, not going to lie, because I think it got you to think of, like, maybe there are no more than 2 per state kind of thing. And then
They should have just been
straight-
the Texas Athletic Conference. God damn. What is the current conference of this last team?
they're a Big 12 school now,
TCU.
TCU.
And by the way, yes, all of them are state schools. Not a single one is a private school on that list.
I do actually, when I was looking for conferences, I did end up coming up with a trivia question that I do want to throw you.
All right. Send it to me right now. We're already
True or false?
false.
The Ivy League has kept its name throughout its duration of being a collegiate athletic conference.
I want to say true, but I'm going to say false.
You are correct.
Because the Ivy League is so iconic that, of course, it wasn't their original name.
So from 1956 to 1981, it went by the Ivy Group.
Like I said, there's something about it that just, it didn't feel like a given. I'm definitely giving you an Ivy League next time. What do you think my score was out of the total possible, or is this another non-applicable and we'll start the strike system with me next week?
But we can start the strike system next time I go.
All right,
But-
which will be next week.
This one would have been way more of a pain in your ass.
By the way, Alex, just saying.
All right, I do have my next one now.
Just saying,
This one.
it's going to be 3 strikes, 2 hints. When you get to 50%, you get an additional strike. So, like, if it's a 10-team conference and you knock off the first 5, you can get a 4th strike. Same thing.
Could we have like an overhead of like where can we try to update that in real time or not?
I mean, I can attempt to. I can
Well,
draw
yeah,
I can draw
yeah. Let's
graphics
draw
to
it up.
attempt, and then we can just put them
Yeah. So
Actually, yeah, we can. That'd be super easy because what I can do is I can just put strike 1, 2, 3 on the screen like I do the scoreboard, and I can just have them all on, and I can knock them off. I can click them off when it happens. So in real time, the stream will have how many strikes, how many lifelines you have left, and if you've earned the bonus strike, we'll put it up there, and it'll be strikes remaining, so that it's the bonus strike can be like gold or something.
Okay, so I do have my next one for you already, so I'm gonna have to save that for another day.
Tell me the conference, not the year, so that I can not pick it.
The Skyline Conference.
There's a Skyline conference.
Yeah, Cincinnati's not in it, so I can you can cross off the state of Ohio.
Okay. Don't worry, I'm gonna hit you with a very obscure because I did A10 specifically baseball.
This will be football again, by the way.
Well, because that's what I'm doing. I'm putting the sub conference, the sport.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I think next week will be
It'll be
our last stream until
until
August.
we do. Yeah, we'll do something live at Fenway on the 2nd. Really short. It won't be anywhere close to an hour long.
Might be just like we just cut content at Fenway and edit it out. If anything,
maybe that'll probably be what happens, and then, so yeah, next week, and then we'll be off until first week of August, probably.
I will be
because I'll be away for the 3rd and the 10th.
I'll be. I mean, unless you want to go live the 17th.
We can. I don't have anything that day.
I don't know. Yes, because I go away the 20th I go to England on the 20th.
That's fine.
21st,
That's fine. You can do an international portion of the pod. That's fine. I'll ask you only soccer questions. I've already come from my conference.
All right, so July we got the 17th. I'll be back the 27th, so we'll have the 17th and the 31st.
Okay. We'll put it on the X.
I'll put it on the calendar, and then we can.
Yep, we'll put it on the calendar. We'll make everything work. Alrighty, guys. Thank you as always.
Anyway, hold on. We got a new social post out, so if you find it, you know what to do. And after that, we'll see you next week.
As always, next week, obviously, trivia. Part 3. Alex gets the bonus question of a conference that I'll put the conference in the sheet. I won't put the year, just like, and then I'll put the out of total. So I'll put that up on Tuesday night or Wednesday night so that you have a day to find out roughly what schools were in this conference. If it's a defunct conference.
All right.
Because I think that helps too. A little bit. To set yourself geographically. Because I forgot that the WAC was in Texas. So I think that'll be... You'll get a little bit of chance to study, but not much. Anything?
I wasn't planning on studying, but it's fun.
Alrighty, have a good one, and we will be back next Thursday, roughly 7 p.m.
Sir.
See you, bud.
See ya.
I've been thinking all about you since we first met.